Have you ever felt just lost in your own head? You know, trapped in this world of worries and what-ifs that isn't technically real but feels completely, totally, all-consuming? Well, it turns out the ancient sage Patanjali had a name for this, and he had a pretty serious warning. And that warning is exactly what we're going to unpack today.
And this quote right here, this is the central mystery we're diving into. How on earth can the mind create its own world and then consume it? It sounds like a paradox, right? But think about it. If you've ever spent an entire afternoon stressing about a 10-second conversation, you've lived this. Your mind builds a whole story, and then it just feeds on the drama.
So I want you to just hold on to this question as we go. Because what if the most basic assumption you have about who you are is, well, just a little bit off? What if you aren't the actor who's caught up in all the chaos and the drama, but you're actually the audience, watching it all from the best seat in the house?
You see, within Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, there's this one particular verse that's considered so potent, some even call it dangerous. Not dangerous like it's going to physically harm you, but dangerous to the entire reality your mind has so carefully constructed for you. It's designed to shake things up.
And this is it, Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. It sounds complicated, but let's just break it down. At other times, that just means whenever you're not fully paying attention. The seer, that's your true core self. And here's the key, that seer mistakenly takes on the form of your thoughts. So when your mind has an anxious thought, you don't just notice the anxiety, you literally become anxiety. And that right there is the fundamental mistake we all make.
So here's a great way to think about it. Your mind is like a non-stop movie director, constantly producing a film filled with heroes, villains, fears, and fantasies. But the ultimate trick, the biggest deception of all, isn't the movie itself. It's that your mind has convinced you, the silent watcher, to jump right into the screen and become one of its characters, forced to act out whatever script it writes that day.
And this slide really lays it all out. On one side, you have the watcher, the Sakshi. That's the real you, unchanging, still, just pure awareness. On the other side, you've got the experience, the Vrittis. All your thoughts, feelings, memories, they're like the weather, always changing, always in motion. The problem, as this dangerous sutra points out, is when we confuse the sky for the clouds that are just passing through it. And Patanjali says that all of this stuff, all these clouds floating through the sky of your awareness, they all grow from just 5 basic kinds of seeds. He calls them Vrittis. And as you can see, it's everything from correct perceptions to memory, even deep sleep. These are the basic building blocks for every single story your mind cooks up. Now this next idea, it's a total game changer. We usually think of our mind as a clear window that we look through to see the world as it is, but Patanjali says, nope, you've got it backwards. The mind isn't a window, it's a projector. What you experience as being out there is actually a movie being projected from in here, using all your memories, fears, and hopes as the film.
And this shows exactly how that projection happens. It starts with something tiny, right? A little ripple of desire. That desire becomes a thought. Then your imagination grabs that thought and blows it up into a full-blown movie scene. That imaginary scene creates real feelings, anxiety, joy, anger. And before you know it, that internal movie feels like your external reality. We think the world is doing this to us, but it was an inside job the whole time.
Okay, but here's where the story takes a darker turn. The mind isn't just happy to create your world, it then has to feed on it. The creator literally turns on its own creation, trapping you in this bizarre, self-sustaining loop. Patanjali had a really stark name for this process, Antah Samhara. It basically means internal destruction, or a kind of inner death. This is what happens when the mind's repetitive stories become so powerful that they start to swallow the very awareness that's watching them. It's like the movie on the screen literally consuming the audience.
And we've all felt this, right? It does this in a few key ways. First, thought loops, just chewing on the same worry over and over and over again. Then there's memory distortion, where every time you replay a painful memory, you add a little more drama, a little more sting. And finally, emotional feeding, where fear just finds more things to be afraid of, and anger looks for more reasons to be angry. It's a vicious cycle. Which, of course, brings us to the most important question in this entire exploration. After all of that, the projector, the movie, the loops, the chaos, who is it that's aware of all this? Who is the one that's watching all of this happen?
Because the answer to that question, well, that's the ultimate plot twist in the story of you.
The solution isn't to fight your mind or try to win some internal battle. It's to simply realize who you've actually been this whole time.
This is it. This is the whole secret, right here. All of that stuff we talked about, the storm, the movie, the drama, that's just the activity of your mind, but it is not you. You are the one who is aware of all of it.
The one who's been watching all along has a name, the Sakshi, or the witness. This is your true essence. It's that silent, unchanging background of awareness that the whole movie of your mind plays out against. It's the part of you that has never, ever been touched by a single thought, feeling, or experience.
And look at what a massive difference this makes in practice. The mind gets totally identified. It says, I am sad. The watcher simply observes, there is a feeling of sadness in the mind. The mind says, I am a failure. The watcher realizes, failure is just an event that's being observed, a scene in the movie. That tiny shift in language creates this huge space of freedom.
So the great thing is, this isn't just some high-level philosophy. Patanjali gives us actual practical tools to make this shift, to go from being a character in the movie to being the watcher.
First up is Abhyasa, which just means practice. It's the constant but gentle effort of just noticing when you've gotten lost in the movie and then gently pulling your attention back. You don't fight the thoughts, you just shift your focus, again and again and again.
Second is Vairagya, or detachment. Now, this one is often misunderstood. It's not about giving everything up or not caring about things. It's simply about loosening your mental grip. It's developing the ability to see a thought pop up and just say, oh, look at that thought. It's just a cloud passing by.
And number 3, this is your emergency brake. Breath anchoring. When the mind's movie is a crazy, chaotic action film, you can always drop your attention out of the story and into the simple physical sensation of your breathing. It is the perfect anchor to the reality of right here, right now.
And once you start looking for this pattern, you'll see it everywhere. You know, when a casual comment from a friend turns into a 3-day internal drama about betrayal, that's the mind creating and consuming. Spending all day worrying about a meeting that hasn't happened yet, that's the mind eating your present moment with its imagination. Just seeing it happen is the first huge step.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The whole journey isn't about destroying the mind, it's about realizing your true identity. And that moment of separation, that moment you first recognize it, is described as a second birth. It's the real beginning of your life as a conscious observer, not just an unconscious character.
So let's end with a tool you can actually take with you right now, a simple affirmation to anchor you in this truth. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by the mind's movie, just silently repeat this to yourself, I am not my thoughts, I am not my emotions, I am the watcher. And in that simple act, in that space, you will find your freedom.